To EV Unplugged. This week I am sitting in one of the new MG S5 EVs, and this is the Trophy Edition. It's brand new to the UK, and I'm lucky enough that I've got an MG dealership not too far from where I live who've been absolutely amazing, giving me lots of information regarding the car, specification, allowing me to sit in the car and do some footage. So I'll put a link to their website at the end of this video and in the comments below. Really recommend, if you're looking for an EV, especially an MG, and you're in the Northwest, go and have a look at them. They're not sponsoring this video, by the way. That's just pure courtesy because they've really been good to me this afternoon while I've been here. A new car. It's not replacing the MG4. There is a replacement of the MG4 coming later this year, I believe. But this is more replacing the MG ZS. And it's an SUV, but it is built on the same chassis and design as the MG4. The MG4 is completely new. It was built from the ground up, from the battery basically, and the chassis was built around the battery rather than having the battery shoehorned somewhere into the bodywork of a petrol car. So the MG S5 is using that same chassis. So the battery runs the full length of the vehicle. It gives it really good stability when you're driving and cornering. Weight distribution is perfect. It's rear wheel drive just like the MG4. So I'm going to read off some of the specifications that they've kindly given to me. Say this is the Trophy Edition. There is the SE version, which is the lower cost one, but you don't get as much kit in the vehicle as you do with the Trophy Edition. So first off, it's got a full 360-degree camera, which was also available on the MG4 Trophy. It's got built-in CarPlay, and it's wireless CarPlay as well, so you don't need to plug in cables to connect your phone to the car. It uses wireless. It comes with the normal safety precautions that you got on the MG4, such as lane change assist, emergency lane keeping assist, rear parking sensors. You can put your phone on this pad, so it'll automatically charge your phone up, so you don't need to plug in a cable. It comes with a 12.8-inch high definition screen, so it's slightly bigger than the one that comes with the MG4. It comes with 4 USB ports, which on this model, I'm trying to find, they're hidden in here in the cubby hole. So there are 2 USB-C connectors, which is good because the MG4 had 1 USB-A, which was what spoke to the infotainment, and a USB-C, which is what you use for charging other devices on. So it's good to see that they've brought the technology up to date, and now it's a USB-C in there, 2 of them. And behind there are USB-Cs for rear passengers. It's got what they call AGS, which is active grille system. So the vehicle, there are vents, and these will open up and close depending on coolant required, and to cause more downforce as well, which is brilliant when you're cornering or you've got it in sport mode. That extra downforce really does help. Now what I do like, the headlights and the rear lights, they are cool. They've got a sense of humor when it comes to design, and I guess and a nod to the heritage of MG with its racing background. So the headlights at the front, they look like a checkered flag. They're staggered. There's 3 lights and they're staggered, and it looks like a racing checkered flag. And the rear lights are brilliant. They look like a smiley face. They're going to make that person sitting behind you in traffic smile and grin to themselves as they see them. It really is a nice little touch. Now the Trophy Edition does come with rear privacy glass as well, so you got that a little bit of confidentiality in the back of the car. Doesn't come standard on the SE model, but it does on the Trophy. There's the little rear spoiler as well, just above the rear mirrors, just like 2 little spoilers that kick out. Again, they had them on the MG4 Trophy, so if you see one with a spoiler at the back, that's a Trophy Edition. They look nice. I do believe that they do give slightly less range on the vehicle because it causes a little bit more drag because of the downforce. So when you're driving, you're cornering, you need that, but for battery consumption, it just takes a little bit off the top end because it's causing more drag on the vehicle. Okay, so let's talk about the battery then. So there are 2 batteries available on the MG5S. There is a 49 kilowatt and there is a 64 kilowatt on the SE and the Trophy version. So there are 2 different powered motors in each vehicle. So on the standard range, you've got a 125 kilowatt motor, and on the Trophy, you've got a 170 kilowatt version. So let's talk about the 0 to 62 then, because let's face it, that's why a lot of us buy MGs and EVs in general, because they're fast, they're rapid off the mark, they're fun to drive. So the 0 to 62 for the standard model is about 8 seconds. Nothing to write home about really, but for an SUV, it's actually pretty quick. However, the Trophy version, the higher motor powered car, it is a staggering 6.3 seconds. That's it, 6.3 seconds, 0 to 62 in a family runabout SUV. So let's look at the interior of this vehicle then. So what's the difference between this and my MG4? Well, quite a lot really. First off, they've got rid of that horrible solid plastic paneling here. If you drive and you put your arm against a rubber, it's kind of like a rough texture, and it sandpapers your elbow and leaves marks all over it. They've got rid of that, and this is a little bit more squishy, a little bit nicer. Nice piping and stitching around the edge. Feels nice. Buttons feel quite firm, sharp. They feel quite nice. Steering wheel feels pretty much exactly the same as the MG4. Same layout on the controls. So if you've seen an MG4 or driven one, the layout looks pretty much the same. You have these two buttons here that you can use for programming up to do various functions, such as regen, power, and air conditioning temperatures. So you can program either of them two up. We've got stalks, we've got sticks here. So you've got lights and indicators on the sides, but more importantly, we've actually got touch taptic buttons across here. Oh, thank you MG for listening. So on the MG4, all your aircon settings and were all done via the touchscreen. And when you're driving and you're trying to touch, it wasn't that easy to change the temperatures safely. They have now changed it, and they are now buttons on the dashboard. So I've got fan controls and temperatures and little flicky switches to raise the fins up and down to blow from your window down to your feet. Brilliant. What else is new? These two cup holders here are in a better position because they are there. You can see them, they're easily reachable. If you have driven an MG4 or you've seen my previous video, you'll know that there is a shelf underneath, which there is here, which has got a rubber mat on it, but the drinks were underneath that shelf. So you had to kind of try and angle your drinks in sometimes to get them to fit into those drinks holders. Having it up here open is a much better way of doing it. Plus the USBs were down there out of the way and you couldn't really see them either. So when you're trying to plug in your USB, it was hit and miss if you actually got it to plug in or not. As I said earlier, there is a wireless charging pad here for your phone, so you can put your phone on there and it will charge. And there's a little slot here, so you can actually stand your phone up if you wish. Rather than charging it, you can put your phone in there and it will stand up and be visible. Nice big cubby hole here, plenty of storage, goes in quite deep, just below my elbow. And there is a cigarette lighter and there are two USBs in there. So you can plug your phone in and then hide it out the way in there so people can't see it if you leave it in the vehicle while it's charging. Other than that, there is plenty of headroom in this. I can't believe how high this roof actually is. There's plenty of height in this one. Dashboard here, we've got the percentage of the battery remaining, the estimated number of miles. We've got the sensor here. This is telling us what cars are around us. Seats on park, normal mode, handbrakes on, and these are the accumulated mileage and miles per kilowatt hour. And then if I just go across to the right, that's the percentage of power being used by the drive at any particular time. Okay, so what you've got here is we've got some apps. So we've got weather. This needs to be linked up and probably have a data account with it to be able to access this, or tether to your phone. But we've got weather, Apple CarPlay and Android, which I say are wireless on this one. We've got climate, so air conditioning, heaters, temperatures, front and rear demisters. We've got the sound system, so is it DAB radio, AM, FM, Bluetooth, however you want to listen to your tunes. Then we've got the built-in sat-nav. Which again needs to be activated in order to work. This is a demonstration model. Got heated steering wheel, heated front driver's seat, and we've got the heated front passenger seat as well. Across the bottom here we've got the 360 cameras, so you can see all around the vehicle. As you can see, I'm in the MG showroom. You can see down the sides and around the back, which is absolutely brilliant. Something I do miss on my MG4. Then we've got the phone, which say you can Bluetooth. Now this is where the niceness happens. So in here we can program up the cluster, which is on the driver's side, here to display exactly what we want it to show. This is the nice bit. This is MG Pilot. So MG Pilot has got all the safety features on here. So speed recognition, audible alert when you go over the speed limit, when you change speed limits, via signs, which I find hit and miss sometimes, especially on motorways with gantry lights. It doesn't always work, but again, you can turn that on and off. Front collision, do you want it to just alert you, or do you want it to brake as well? What's the sensitivity? Now I've had that kick in on my MG4 a couple of times by accident when I'm overtaking a parked vehicle and the car thinks I'm going to hit it and it's broke for me. Lane assist, so again, if you're veering off the lines, then it will alert you. It'll give you tap tick feedback on the steering wheel as well. So vibration, lane keep, so all blind spot, all of these are features on this model. You can see here we've got the driver fatigue monitor. That is a new one. So this monitors your driving behavior, and if you start yawning or your eyes start to wander, it will tell you, it'll warn you to take a break, which is absolutely brilliant. So again, we've got all these and they're all on. Now what we can do is we can say, well, actually, I don't want that one on. We'll keep the front collision on because that's quite important. We don't want the lane departure one. And then what we can do, we can go and press on this button up here and hold, and it programs it in. So the next time I get into the vehicle, all of these will be switched on automatically, because that's how they keep their NCAP rating. But I can go into here, I can press that button once, confirm, and it'll just turn them all off. That is absolutely brilliant. That is something that's missing off the MG4. So let's have a look around the rest of the vehicle and see how it looks as a passenger. Okay, so what's it look like as a passenger in the rear? So we open this. I'm 5'9". I can quite easily stretch my legs out in here, and there's absolutely buckets of headroom in this vehicle. It's very, very, very spacious. The dashboard seems absolutely miles away in this car. So in the back, say there's room for 3 people, 1 in the middle. Because this is an electric MG, the battery runs across the whole of the floor. You don't have the big bulge in the middle where the exhaust would normally be on a nice vehicle. So this is quite flat, so you could have somebody in the middle here for short journeys without any problems whatsoever. I wouldn't like to be in this for a massive long journey. You are slightly elevated, but it's comfy. It's comfy. We've got pockets behind the seats, which is always a good thing. And we've got a USB charger here in the boot, in the back as well. And we've got lights. This is one of the things that was missing off the MG4 was lights, interior lights. They were missing. So I put LED strips at the front and underneath the front seats for the rear passengers to give a little bit of light. In here, we've got lights. So yeah, so this is extremely comfortable. These seats are very, very soft and padded. I do like this. So we've got room for 3 people in the back, quite easy. Let's have a look at the boot. So in the boot, we've got the same parcel shelf as we've got on the MG4, which comes untied with these little clips. Plenty of room in here. It's not quite roomy enough for me to sit in, but it's got plenty of room. And then we've got this as well. This comes out, and then you've got the toolkit for your jack, emergency pump, and this foam in the boot as well. It's got a little tools cover to go over the top. I don't think you'd get room. Doesn't look like there's enough room in there to put your home charging cable, your 7 kilowatt cable. There's no room in there to put that. But this floor does come out to give you that extra depth if you want, or you can slide in place and just have half of it open. There's 2 cubby holes here, and a little bit of netting at the bottom to stop things from falling out, which is great. One thing that is missing on this is a USB charger or a 12-volt cigarette lighter. We're missing out the back. So if you go away for a weekend or a holiday and you're taking coolers with you or cold food storage and you will plug it in, yeah, you can't in the back of this one. My daughter's Mini 1, which is 2012, comes with one. Unfortunately, the cooling box is all that we would fit in. So yeah, so there's no 12-volt socket in the back, which is a bit of a shame. I was hoping that they would release that on this newer model. Seats, same as the MG4. You just pull the clips back and they fold forward. And then you've got lots of space inside that vehicle for luggage. So there we have it. A very quick look around the new MG5. So it's built on the same chassis as the MG4. It's got a lot of the features of the MG4, but it is a SUV vehicle. It's got more headroom. I'll put some statistics up on the screen so you can see some of the specifications and the comparison between the different models and the prices. Now, at the moment, this may change after this has been recorded, but this may change. At the moment, the government grant scheme, the new reductions, and go and look at my previous video on this, is not applicable to MG at the moment. That's not to say it won't be in the future, but it's not at the moment. So the grant scheme is quite heavily focusing on European-made cars because Chinese cars and the Chinese industries are seen as polluting and not environmentally friendly, and that is one of the reasons why, is because they're not seen as an environmentally friendly manufacturer. European ones tend to be a little bit more, but that may change in the future. Well, at the moment the MG5S is not actually in that grant scheme, but as I say, it may change in coming months. We don't know how long the grant scheme's going to last for. Potentially to 2027, 2028, with a deadline of 2035 for all vehicles to be sold as is. So it's a little bit of an enticement to people to move from a petrol car or diesel car into a full and not a hybrid. I'll put a link in the description to the MG garage where I am. Like I say, they've been absolutely brilliant, nice vehicles. I'm going to come back. Unfortunately, I can't drive this version. Their test drive model has just been sold, so I can't drive that one. So I'm hopefully coming back and I'll do a little bit of a road test of the MG5S in a few weeks time, and I'm also going to do a video of the Cybster, which is just off to the side there. And I've been told that there may be a very secret IM5 and IM6 announcement in the next couple of weeks, so I've been told to keep in contact and come and see when that announcement has been made. So I'll leave you with some images and some specifications of the vehicle. If this video was of use to you, please consider liking and subscribing. It costs you absolutely nothing to do so. It means a lot to me. It helps me grow the channel, and I will reply to all the comments that you leave below. So are you considering moving to an EV, or are you considering moving to the MG S5? Let me know in the comments below what's making you move to it, what's putting you off, and I'll see you in the next video.